Welcome back. We're still reviewing Vanguard. Who's ready to go?
Yeah, so I have the story. It's actually an interesting read by Temitayo Adejumo, and she writes about breaking circle of consumption, empowering Nigeria's creative potential. So in this particular article, she writes about Nigeria being a consumer nation, and we have this outdated educational system that needs to be looked into. And according to what she says, she said we've been designed to be just followers and not innovators. Our learning model emphasizes on memorization over application, theory over practice, and then by the time our graduates come out, they're half-baked and they know formulas, but they don't know how to build. In fact, with the unemployment rate of 53% for youths, and then the overdependence on importation that cost us almost $10 billion annually, she has made some recommendations which entails vocational education. They should make hands-on learning and foundation of education system starting from primary school. And then she still says we should shift from certificate to skills and focus on developing practical skills, not just theoretical knowledge. Also, she said we should merge industry with education. There should be collaboration.
I'd like to read it.
I'm telling you, and then encourage entrepreneurs, teach financial literacy, business development, and startup incubation. She writes about a lot, and I see reasons for what
So as an educationist, this is what we've been talking about since, that the sort of curriculum we have is not going to breed creators and entrepreneurs. We'll still come back from the school and start looking for what you're going to do at the end of the day, and it's not fair. Every other part of the world, they are updating, constantly evolving and updating. There's this viral video I saw one time where you see Chinese kids, as little as they are doing hands-on practice. They are baking, they are sewing, and in nursery school, that's what they teach them. And you see these kids gleefully doing it because that's the time you catch them young. But
in this Nigeria, we'll sing young ones first.
Exactly.
We've even seen young ones building scrap cars and all that. We don't get to hear about them.
All right. So the House of Representatives yesterday passed for second reading a bill seeking to establish an independent body for the registration, regulation, and funding of political parties in Nigeria. Election don't they come. The bill, which was co-sponsored by the Speaker, Mr. Abbas, and Edo lawmaker, Mr. Onobun, seeks to remove political parties registration and regulation from the Independent National Electoral Commission. He said that the call for transparency in the electoral process in Nigeria has continued to dominate public discourse in recent years. This is evidenced by the increased number of electoral disputes at all levels. All stakeholders in the electoral process are in tandem with the fact that no nation can elect credible leaders and experience good governance where the process of electing her leaders is marred by irregularities. So let's see, Nigeria, we seek to bring up new things, create new bodies, make new regulations instead of the old ones and making it and learning from the mistakes of the old ones and making it better. Modifying it. We just keep
a new one.
We just love new things, wasting time, energy, and money.
Measures, new here. You are not able to just follow through and complete anything. I have a story here. I am embattled chairman of the Senate Committee on Diaspora and NGOs, Senator Natasha Akpabio-led, was yesterday slammed with a 6-month suspension by the Senate, which also barred her from participating in all activities of the 10th Senate over her alleged misconduct when she protested against the reassignment of her seat by Senate President Godswill Akpabio February 20, 2025. So Senator Akpabio-led had earlier in the day represented her sexual harassment petition against Senate President Akpabio, said her suspension could not be sustained. They said the Labour Party had also asked the Senate to revisit the 6-month suspension imposed on Akpabio-led over allegations that she breached his rules. I think this is going to be like our major topic today, so we'll have time to dissect it. But okay, let me save my comments for when we talk about it. So let's move on now to The Guardian. We didn't have Sun today. We didn't have Punch today. I don't know what happened. Major headline: pro-people legislation shadowed by House drama intrigues. Furore as Senate slams 6-month suspension on Akpabio-led. Tinubu approves 80% dialysis subsidy, hires 774 national health fellows. Militants threaten oil installation attacks in rivers, order evacuation. Court orders permanent forfeiture of 1.4 million fund linked to Emefiele. Controversy over merit as federal government reverses Chukwu's appointment as Adun VC. Defense headquarters queries Nigeria's terrorism index ranking as federal government freezes assets of terror financiers. Air Force personnel invade Ikeja Disco office, allegedly assault workers over power disconnection. Federal government plans new rehabilitation camp for bandits and terrorists. Catholic Church decries wave of kidnappings targeting priests and pastoral agents. What stories do we have in The Guardian?
Okay, the third one of the Catholic Church. So the Catholic Diocese of Kafanchan has expressed outrage over the killing and brutal murder of Reverend Father Sylvester Kichuku on March the 5th. It was said that he was kidnapped from his residence on the 4th of March around 9:15 to 9:40 p.m. and his lifeless body was found the next day, being the 5th of March. Yes, the statement yesterday titled "Righteous Indignation on the Gruesome Murder of My Son," and the Bishop of Kafanchan Diocese, Most Reverend Julius Yakubu, they say that this is a horrific incident, and this is not the first time that there's been a relentless wave of kidnapping and targeting priests, pastoral agents, and the faithfuls. That yes, that in July 2024, that the remains and body of another priest was found. That the catechist too, same thing happened. So they listed a long list of Reverend pastoral priests and councils that have been kidnapped and murdered over the past 2 years, and this is sad to hear. So I think the governors and the council of the Catholic Church are not happy with this, and something has to be done. They need to be protected.
Yeah, somehow.
Yes.
So what I have here is bad time for food hoarders as food prices crashes by 40%. Okay, so we know that this with Dangote refinery fully operational and crashing its price, things are supposed to come down. With dollar price being stable for a while, it's supposed to. So some people have already bought their products since December, hoping that the price will shoot up. In fact, some of them were saying in 2023 they bought their products, their food stuff in December. One said 60,000 for grains, and then she sold in March 120,000. So they were thinking the same formula was going to apply for this year, and then suddenly the prices are crashing and they are crying. They say our money, we are losing our money.
How are they losing the money? They bought it cheap now.
As a matter of fact, the prices of grains, yams, and all that, it has come down.
On it's paper, not reflecting yet.
On paper,
on the island.
But actually, the truth is, last year, December, I bought rice at a much higher price. But this time, I bought just last week, it was way cheaper. Yeah, so it's coming down. But it's just that these
fruits are very expensive. Like the watermelon I bought recently, man,
apple,
like 4,500.
Yeah.
So fruits very expensive.
So when are these things going to come down so that to touch
when
everybody?
will it finally? FCPC should help us, because this is because this whole stuff, the problem we are having of food scarcity and overpricing is from the marketers. Before they will say, oh, dollar just rose, cost of fueling and all that, so we have to increase before we finish our old stock. Now they cannot sell their old stock because they overbought it. They have to have conscience.
Anyway. Before we go, a violent standoff yesterday erupted between personnel of the Sam Etnan Air Force Base in Ikeja and officials of the Ikeja Electric following the disconnection of the military's facility over an accumulated 4 billion electricity debt spanning a decade. The situation escalated when military personnel allegedly stormed the headquarters of Ikeja Electric, assaulting its members of staff, cutting away the company's property, and forcefully demanding reconnection. The distribution company has described the incident as an outright cry of intimidation and lawlessness. The head of corporate communications, Kingsley Okoti, explained that officers of the Air Force Base in Ikeja, who are their customers, invaded them due to electricity disconnection over their indebtedness, noting that they beat them up, carted away with their laptops, and destroyed their corporate headquarters, also the business units and other locations that service the Air Force Base. We're also going to take this into details. I think it's also one of the topics we're talking about, but this is bad. What is bad is bad.
What is bad is bad.
Yes. So our final paper for today, we don't have much time. That is Leadership Friday. Let me take the story that was ticked here. Rivers, why Supreme Court restored Amewule-led Assembly. Ramat, is that what you have?
No, I have the federal government, the Simon Ekpa 16 orders.
Okay, go ahead with it.
They said the Nigerian Sanctions Committee has designated 17 individuals and organization terrorism financiers. They said they mentioned all their names. There's Simon Ekpa, there's God's Time Promise, God's Time. There's Francis, there's John, there's Eze Edwin, Chukwedo, Ginika. A lot of their names, though, they are all here. They said the list was approved by the president upon the recommendation of the Attorney General of the Federation. And they said in accordance with the section 34 of the Terrorism Act 2022, you are required to, 1, immediately identify and freeze without prior notice all funds, assets, and any other economic resources belonging to the designated persons, and then report to the Sanctions Committee any asset frozen or actions taken in compliance. Thirdly, immediately file a suspicious transaction report to the NFIU for further analysis of the financial activities of such individuals, and then report as an STR to the NFIU all cases of name matching in financial transaction prior to or after receipt of this list. They said the committee also stated that financial institutions and relevant stakeholders have been instructed to enforce the sanctions and submit compliance reports to the Nigerian Sanctions Committee. They also mentioned their email address as secretariat@nigsac.gov.ng and info@nigsac.gov.ng.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, we look into the top stories of today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.